right, greetings early this morning. It is 2:30 in the morning here in Chicago. Doing a little bit of a marathon. One of my subscribers asked me about depression. So I think about it. I think about depression. I've thought about it. And I cannot say I'm an expert. I believe depression is very uh, complicated. I think it's very complicated. And so I can't give you any advice. If you think you're dealing with depression, you have to go seek professional help if you think. So I'm just going to simply talk. It's just like we're sitting there talking. We're visiting each other and we're just talking. So I'm not giving any type of mental, medical advice. I'm just going to tell you what I think when it comes to depression. So let everybody come in here. Good to see you. Denital, Will of the Most High, Rastaman, Space Time, Marv. Make sure you go subscribe to Vegan Intel if you're trying to work on your health and things like that. I started to talk about this over there, and I probably will from another point, from another angle. So I probably will talk about this over there from the point of eating. Always a pleasure, Exit Beer. I am drinking some mud water. I had some coffee earlier, and I back it up with some mud water. And I'm not sure how much I can say about this. YouTube is kind of strange on what you can promote and what you can't. So I don't know. I don't know their rules. Their rules are not defined well. So it's kind of hit and miss on YouTube. They don't tell us anything. They say they can't tell you what to say and what not to say, but then they can, I don't know. They need to get it together before somebody like Elon knocks them out the game. I've seen this movie before with MySpace. You'd be here today and gone tomorrow. So if anybody from YouTube is watching that's got power, call me. I can help you out. So yeah, we're going to talk about depression. It's a very difficult subject to talk about. But we're going to attempt to do it. For sure. Let's wait till everybody that's half asleep realize we live. It is headed towards 3 in the morning here in Chicago. In 20 minutes, it'll be 3 in the morning. Depression is serious, that's for sure. It's definitely serious. Good to see you, Jordan. It's definitely a serious situation. But people got so many different things going on. How do they define it? How? Can it be cured? What sends you into depression? What can get you out of depression? And from my point of view, and I'm pretty good with the mind and things like that, I think that's like a very difficult question, I think. Because there's just endless reasons for you to be depressed or think you're depressed. Because it could be a possibility they need some more terms. I mean, me, if I was working as a professional psychiatrist, psychologist, or sociologist, I, I tend to believe that if I looked at all the different cases they call depression, I probably would separate them. And I probably would separate them depending on what you think caused it. Because I just don't see how different things that happen to you and you feel away. I don't see how that could always be the same. I'm just not sure about that. So, in other words, if a family member passes away and I'm down and out and you call that depression, what about if I have a bad breakup and I'm down and out? Is that depression? Or is depression anytime you're down and out and in what they used to call a funk? So I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult to detect in some cases because it seems to me there could be a situation where you're depressed, but nobody knows it. Even you don't know it. And it could be a case where you don't know it, and then maybe it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until it gets recognizable. And it might not even be recognizable. I can see how it wouldn't be recognizable to the person going through it or to the people that surround them that see them going through it. I don't think it would necessarily be analyzed or recognized. You know. So let's say I got a woman, and I'm going what people would call depression, and I'm getting quieter. I'm not eating as much. Uh, but it's not that bad yet. I'm not really talking to my woman and stuff that much. Your woman might just think you don't like her. She might not even know it's depression. She might think you don't find her attractive anymore or you're not attracted to her. How would she know that you're going through depression? That's the hard part. How do you analyze it? How do you recognize it? especially if you never dealt with it before. You could be going through depression, but your bills, you got so many bills. You got to go to work. You got to go to work regardless. So you might not even know you're depressed because you got to go to work. You ain't got no time to even think if you're depressed or not. All you trying to do is go to work and pay these bills. So you could go to work, pay the bills, come home, not quite be yourself. If you're working hard and you're not quite feeling like yourself, you could easily blame that on your job. You just think maybe you tired. Maybe you working hard. You see what I'm saying? So I'm attempt to talk about it and try to see what I can break down in it. I don't think if I was a psychiatrist, I'm not sure if I would tell you it's depression. I really have to think about that. I looked up some information on it and stuff like that, and it said the basic things, but I don't remember people being depressed. Now all of a sudden you got depression, depression, depression. I don't remember depression. I don't remember anybody being depressed. So where did it come from? Because I'm telling you, I don't remember people being depressed. Now maybe it was happening in the privacy of their homes and they didn't know it and we didn't know it. I don't know. But I know I never heard it slung around as much as I do now. So I'm not sure if it's the food, the environment, or the lifestyle that the Babylon system got us living. I'm not sure what it is, but I never heard of it before. It seems new. So hit that like button. Make sure you share and subscribe this conversation. The one thing that's strange about depression is how do you distinguish you depressed or you just sad? And there's sadness, depression. Is depression when you get sad and you can't become unsad? Because from the definitions I read of depression, there's not clear definitions. And if you come out with a term called depression, could that cause depression? When the population finds out there's a such thing as depression. In other words, if there's no thing as depression, and I go through a breakup and I'm down and out because I broke up with my woman, but I don't know it's depression, and I'm not considering it depression, I feel like I'll come out of it. But I feel like if I know there's a word called depression and I start to begin to think I'm suffering from depression, I think that is dangerous because every time somebody gets sad, people have been getting sad from the beginning of time. How'd that turn into depression? Make that make some sense. I broke up with some girlfriends before and I didn't like it. It bothered me. I probably was a little down and out, but I depressed because I ended up with another girlfriend. But for that period, let's say that was 6 months, let's say that was 3 months, I was thinking about the person I broke up with. Am I depressed? I don't know. I don't think so. If a parent passed away and I'm a little sad because I just lost my mother and my father, and I'm sad for I'm thinking about them 1 month, 2 months. Is that depression? If you lose your appetite sometime, is that depression? Because I don't know. I think the term is dangerous. I think it's dangerous when people start saying, "Oh, I'm depressed." And that's dangerous. Because the more you thinking you're depressed, and you thinking you're depressed, you're depressed, when you're kind of sad, and you need to be thinking this way to get out of it. So is thinking about depression gonna have you go this way, or is it gonna be like I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed? Because I don't see where thinking about you depressed helps you not be depressed. I think that's depressing. I think if I think I'm depressed, thinking I'm depressed is going to depress me. Or am I tripping? If I'm if I'm sad and I think I'm depressed, ain't I going to be sadder? Because now I'm sad and I'm depressed, and I'm sad that I'm depressed because I don't know how recognizing you depressed helps you get undepressed. I don't see how. I mean, if you came to me as a psychiatrist, and I believe I'm just as good as a psychiatrist as anybody, and you came to me and you was down and out and you was sad, I don't think I would tell you suffering from depression. I think I'll tell you, oh, you all right. Hey, cheer up, get up, it'll be fine. You're all right. I don't think I would tell you you're suffering from depression. Now, she said depression is about worrying about the past. I don't think so. All of us are worried about the past. Are we depressed? I don't think that's depression. That's what I'm trying to say, Jody. I think they're teaching us that's depression, but it's never been depression before. I do recognize there is depression because many marriages have broken up because a husband and wife is together and something happens to their child where their child ends up unalive. And the mother is gone. In some cases, she never comes back once she loses her baby. And the husband doesn't have a wife anymore. And he tries to stay there with her, but he only gonna be able to stay there so long because she ain't gonna be able to provide his needs, and she's just a shadow of herself. So even if he stay there, he gonna have a girlfriend, he gonna have a woman somewhere, and come back to take care of her. I think that's depression. But you have a lost child. You have somebody that carried a child for 9 months and lost their child and they depressed. Now I'm trying to figure how somebody got a boyfriend and a girlfriend, a husband and wife get a divorce. So I'm trying to figure out how you feeling as bad as the woman that lost her baby. That's not making no sense to me. So you say so depression is when you can't overcome an issue. Can you? That's what I'm saying. Can you overcome it or do you start believing you can't overcome it? That's I'm glad you said that, Defound. Can you overcome it or do you believe you can't overcome it? And if you believe you can't overcome, you stack that, that's not depression. That's you playing mind tricks on yourself. That how is that depression when you're telling yourself you can't get no better? You know what I'm saying? Am I making any sense to anybody? Like you're telling yourself you can't get no better. So how is that depression? That's self-inflicted sadness. That's a ghetto boy song. At night I can't sleep, I toss and turn. My mind's playing tricks on me. Basically, think about it. So this is why this was kind of hard for me uh to talk about. I've had some women in my days. I broke up with some women that I didn't want to break up with. And I don't know. I guess they would have called that depression. I didn't think it was depression. I was a little, I don't even know if I want to call it sad. We only got limited words in English. So sad don't sound like how I felt. You know? I gotta try to find a word. But you got a girlfriend and you really like her and you break up and then she was somebody else and you're not with her no more and you liked her and you want to be with her. It don't seem like sad. Don't sound like the right word. I don't know. Our words are limited, so we forced to use words. We're forced to use the same word for a lot of different circumstances. So I don't know if that's sad. I like that. And I believe if you think it's sad, you might start crying and actually be sad. I wasn't crying. I was like, I wasn't doing all that. It's a breakup. She gone. It ain't cool, but I mean, I ain't crying. So that's why I'm saying discussing depression is very, very difficult issue because there's so many things that can happen to you, and it can make you feel a certain kind of way. But I think the term depression is dangerous. I think once people find out there's something about depression, I think a lot of people will now say the depression for what people back in the day just was sad and got over it. I think depression, sadness allows you to be happy again. But depression don't sound like the opposite. The opposite of sad is happy. What's the opposite of depression? It ain't got no opposite. So how could you be the opposite of depression? What is the opposite? You could be rich, then you could be poor. You could be poor, then you could be rich. You could be happy, you could be sad. You could be sad, you could be happy. You could be depressed, then what? What's the opposite of depressed? So how could you be the opposite of depressed? What is the opposite of depressed? It don't have no opposite. You could be well-being. I thought well-being is somebody checks on your well-being, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time distinguishing sadness from depression. And sometimes they make depression seem like it's real difficult, but sadness is not difficult. You lose a loved one, you go to a funeral, you're a little sad, you get over it. You get over it rather quickly. To be honest with you, if you're normal, but I'm a natural psychologist and a natural sociologist, so I haven't studied it, but I got the gift naturally, and I just don't like the analytical term depression. I don't. It's a term that I feel once you identify as that, it seemed like just the term alone digs a deeper hole to me. Like the last thing I would want to tell a patient is that you're going through depression. I don't think I would want to say that because I think just saying that's going to make it hard. Because now I separated depression from sadness. And what is depression? How do you get it? How do you get rid of it? Are people that's just typically sad now calling it depression? So all the people that lost their homes in the fire in California, how many of them are going through depression? And why are they going through depression? Because we told them it's depression. There was a time we never told nobody it was depression. So nobody went through depression. Everybody picked themselves up by their bootstraps and kept going. Depression sounds uncurable, and it sounds like a definition that could be slapped on anything, and it sounds long term. Sad don't sound long term. It don't sound like you could be sad for no long time, but it seems like you could have depression forever. I don't know. What y'all think? I don't know. I'm going to be talking about some of that in my book, so certain things I want to talk about in detail because you got to get the book, but I don't know. How do you battle depression? How do you know you're depressed? Is your diagnosis for depression correct? Are you adding to it to make it be depression? Are you wallowing in your sorrow and now people calling this depression? Because depression sounds like something you catch. But what about when you self-inflicting it? Is that depression? Can you self-inflict depression on yourself? Because it doesn't sound like nothing that can be self-inflicted. We've always had these people make a big deal out of everything. It's the end of the world. So we got people that have technically, by the term, been depressed, but they wanted to be. They was going out their way to be depressed. Is it depression when they don't have to be like that? When they doing it on purpose? If you put yourself in a funk, are you depressed? Are you what we call tripping? You know, I don't know. I got a lot of questions. It could easily be nutrition and a lack of exercise. Easily. That's being misdiagnosed as depression. We do have a lot of overweight people. We do have a lot of people just sitting around eating trash. We do have that. Is it malnourishment that makes you seem like you're depressed? Make you seem like you can't get over things that happen? Because I would believe if you got in the gym, you would not be depressed. I don't believe you could be working on self improvement and be depressed. I believe the only way you could be depressed is by not working on self improvement, unless you probably lost a child. I can see that. But being grown and losing a parent and being depressed, I can't see that. It reminds me one time I went by this lady's house and she come out to the car and she's boo-hooing, she's crying. I'm like, what's wrong? And she said, my mother passed. And she was tripping. And so I felt bad for her too. I was like, oh man. And I mean, the way she was acting like it was unexpected, like it caught her by surprise. So I said, oh, how old is she? Like 96. I said, if you don't get out of my car, why is you in my car acting like it's an unexpected death of your mama almost 100 years old? You got to be kidding me. Yes, I can understand you. You know, your mother's gone, it's going to bother you, but at 97, you hurt? That's not realistic. 97. I'm thinking, well, how long you wanted her to live, sweetie? I wanted her to live to be 218. You know? And it's like, girl, stop. Get out my car. Get out. Get out. Get out. Your mother lived a long, beautiful life. Her body's, you know, and you're super grown, so you really don't need mommy. Because she had to be 50 something. She wasn't no spring chicken. I can see, you're 20, you young, you need your mommy. But if you're 20, your mama not going to be 97. Your mama 97 and passed away, and it's the end of the whole world. Because you wanted your mama to live forever. Now, a person like that will be depressed, will make themselves depressed. They want to be depressed. They want to be crying and boo-hooing. Because that was just totally ridiculous the way she was acting. It was totally, I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? Then I started thinking, I didn't get it. I didn't understand what was wrong with her. But I know she ain't never had no man that I know. So, okay, she was a little, okay. How you this age, you ain't got no husband, you ain't got no man or nothing. It's just you and your mommy. And you probably almost 60, 50 something. Okay, there's issues there. There's definitely issues. You understand? So if you do think you're going through depression, if you do feel down and out, most likely you have some nutrition that your body's not getting. Most likely it's internal because when you're not getting the proper nutrition, you're going to be moving half speed. And think about if I'm moving half speed physically, if I'm physically slower, I'm going to be what? Mentally slower. But if I pick it up physically, I'll pick it up mentally. And so, my advice for anybody that's going through a bad situation, go to the gym. Go to the gym and think about self improvement. And that will balance out your life and your problems. It would make it easier for you to deal with stress, for you to deal with losses, for you to deal with maybe loneliness or bad breakup or financial trauma or something. Concentrating on your health will help you fight that because it puts you back in the game like, okay, I still got to stay alive. So I can't just sit up here and wither away. I still need to get myself in shape. I still need to be able to walk up some stairs. I still need to be able to sit down and stand up. And what that's going to do is up here, it's going to help take your mind off of it. Because when your mind's going around and around and around about a situation, that's very, very dangerous. If you break up with a man and it's just in your head and in your head, and you letting it go round and round too much, that's dangerous. It could be in your head, but it's got to come and go. It can't stay there all day. It should only come when you're not active. When you stop at the end of the day and you lay down, you relax, then you think about her or you think about him. That's going to be natural. Now, if you get sad over him or her and you just lay around sad, that's going to make you think about them more because you ain't got nothing else to occupy your mind. And you just, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me for too long. So you need some activity. You need activity. You're going through a bad breakup, somebody passed away. You gotta work out. You gotta exercise. You gotta get on a food regimen. You gotta make up something. You gotta get on a tip, some kind of tip. You're going through something, you're feeling the way. You know what? I'm finna go on a fruit fast, or I'm finna add more fruit to it. I'm finna drink more water. I'm finna add a routine. I'm finna try to live longer. I'm finna put my energy into that. And that's gonna stop you from just you're moving, you're trying to increase your health. That's gonna stop your mind from just and then that's going to start to give you some sense of accomplishments. And the more you're not thinking, eventually you'll stop thinking about it at all because you're able to take your mind off of it. It's almost like a tape recorder. The more you're thinking about it, the more hours of recording. So let's say you have a bad breakup and you think about it 3 hours. Okay, that's 6 hours. That's the 3 hours you're thinking about it and the 3 hours you stored it. So now you got to get rid of the 3 hours you're thinking about it and the 3 hours you stored it. That's 6 hours. It's going to take you to clear that out because it's like a tape recorder. You're beating your brain and you're hypnotizing yourself with your trauma. That's not good. People that's been through violent experiences early in the experience, where they maybe got stabbed or got shot or whatever, if they think about it, they could die. You can actually hyperventilate and pass away. Seriously. Like you could die like that. Like I swear to God. I kid you not. Good to see you, Eve. Tell Mama I said hi. I know you working hard. I know you working hard. That's why I haven't seen you, sweetheart. But I know you out there trying to get it. You could actually die like that. I will tell this. I'm writing my book. I will tell this part. When I got stabbed, I was staying out in Maryville with my girl, with my wife. We was about to get married. My fiance at her mother's house. And I was laying down and I started thinking about what happened to me. I started hyperventilating. I started feeling like I was ready to die. Seriously. If I would have stayed like that and called an ambulance, by the time I would have got to the hospital, I would have been dead. It did something to my body. I can't explain it to you, but it's horrible. It shuts your whole body down. You can't breathe. Your heart rate is messed up. And your body goes into panic mode and you could actually die. That's what I felt like. And it got me to calm down. And I made it. I never did that no more. I never thought about that like that no more. Because it's very dangerous. It's like your body could short circuit. This is why we had these people go crazy and go out here and commit these homicides and things because they running stuff through their head and it drives them crazy. And when something's in your head, a bad breakup or whatever, the only thing that's going to get it out is exercise. Nothing else that I know of is going to get it out. Exercising is the only thing will clear that. Because when you exercise and you stop exercising, instead of that being in your mind, guess what's going to be in your mind? A sense of accomplishment, a sense of, oh, I'm taking care of myself. And the sense of taking care of yourself is the opposite of the sense of you thinking about this negative stuff. Thinking about what happened to you over and over again, that's not taking care of yourself. That's beating yourself up with whatever you're thinking of. So you have to think on this side. You have to get that out, and it won't come out. It will not come out. It's going to stay in there, and when you're not doing nothing, it's going to come back. But when you can stop it for a little while and it come back, it's not as bad as when it's just there. So it's not as bad if you could break it up. And if you can break it up, then it might be, you know, it might get to the point where it only come at night when you give children. And then if you keep breaking it up, it might be like where it might only come twice a week. And then you keep breaking up and it'll be like where it might come every 10 days. And eventually you'll be then forgot about it and went on with whatever you got new going on in life. But if you don't break that thought up, I think that's very dangerous. And I don't think nothing will break it up but exercise. Music won't help you because the song gonna remind you. You ever been to a bad breakup and you go like in a grocery store or something, they play a love song? You're like, I hate love songs. Turn that off. Music will not help. It won't unless you plan a song yourself that helps. But if you're just hearing miscellaneous music, oh man, that's the worst. It won't help. The songs will bring you back into a funk if you hear the wrong song. I think the only thing that really fulfills your life, that keeps you grounded if you're making money, grounded if you're hustling, because you might make money, you might lose money, make money. I think the only thing that can help you is exercise and health. I think health and getting fanatical with health kind of keeps your mind clean because you're pushing yourself, because nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to work out, right? So pushing yourself to work out, pushing yourself to eat more uh, really good food occupies your mind, so you really don't have time to be sad or depressed. You start feeling a sense of accomplishments. And as you keep doing that, your body's feeling better. It just kind of clears all that dead time where you're thinking, and it gives you a goal. And you need a really strong goal to keep your head clear. I pretty much, uh, let's say I was a psychiatrist and you came to me and you had these things in your mind and you said you was depressed and all that. Me, in my office, I would have a treadmill and I would have some workout stuff. And I'd have to get on the treadmill. And I'd be like, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about this first. How long you think you could walk on a treadmill? And you're like, I don't know. Okay, get on there. Let's see. And you do 12 minutes. And then when you finish, I say, okay, when you come back, do 15. So now I'm creating a goal for you, right? I'm creating a goal. And this goal gets into your mind. So it's going to start to block that space where you had this empty mind just thinking about this problem, just thinking about this problem. You have to clear your mind. Now, in some depression, ain't nothing on your mind, and you don't know you're depressed. You don't know you're down and out. And if you got a mate, they don't know. They don't know what's wrong with you. That is the hard one because you don't know. You don't know nothing's wrong with you. I got a friend that went through depression and he wasn't showering that much. When he was showering, he said he was kind of half doing it, but he didn't know he was half doing it. He said, I didn't really know I wasn't taking care of myself until I started back taking care of myself. And he described it like he was in a, like, like he was a robot. He was just going through the motions of life. And he really wasn't present. And he told me that he didn't know he was going through depression until he got out of it. He said when he got out of it, that's when he realized, oh wow. And what got him out of it was health. He started wanting to work out and get healthy and stuff like that. It kind of got him out of it. And that's what he told me. He said he didn't even know he was in it. He said he didn't even know nothing was wrong with him. Until he changed. And when he changed, that's when he realized, oh wow. He said, how long I've been like this? And he told me that it was slow and gradual. So that's why he didn't know. And he was working a lot of hours. So it's like, Pharaoh, I ain't had time to know if nothing was wrong with me. I'm working, coming home, doing the little stuff at the house, sleep, working, sleep, working. He says women was arguing a lot and all that, so he didn't really know that he wasn't dealing with her right because he thought he wasn't dealing with her because she was always mad and always arguing. And he said she probably was always mad and always arguing because I wasn't dealing with her. I said, who knows, man? She might have had issues too. She might have caused your situation. I don't know. Because you can get with a person that's got issues and they can make you have issues. You can get with a mean person or a person, and they could ruin your mental. And you can be depressed and not even know it. Because depression is not always sad. Depression is not always where you feeling down and out. Sometimes depression is when you spaced out. You're not even there. You're not feeling down and out. I'm telling you, you got to check that. Like with the way they say depression make you think you down. You can be going through depression and not feel down and out. You're just not there. You don't even know it. That's a fact. So the word depression depressed, make you feel like you're going to feel depressed. No. you're not necessarily going to feel down and out. I'm telling you. And that's why it's so dangerous. Because that's why I don't like the word, because the word depression make you feel like you're going to feel down, but that's not true. You won't necessarily even know that you're dealing with depression. You won't necessarily feel down and out. You just won't be there. You just won't. You might lose some of your appetite, but you won't even know you lost it. You won't pay no attention. You're just like, oh wow, I didn't eat. It never crossed your mind why you didn't eat. You won't know. That's why I don't like the word, because the word depression, it sounds like you're depressed, you'll know you'll feel sad, and that's not true. You will not necessarily feel sad. You will not necessarily feel no kind of way. You just won't be there, and you won't be taking care of yourself as much as you should. And if you got a job and working, you'll just be kind of like a robot. And you will have no idea that you are suffering from depression until you get out of it. And you be like, oh my God, I think I was depressed. Because the word depression sound like you would know it, but no. Your mate might know it or your people around you might know it. But if they don't know what it is, they won't know either. They won't know. They won't know. They'll notice something's wrong with you, but they might think it's got something to do with them. They won't know it's got nothing to do with them. They might think you're acting funny because of them. You don't know you're acting funny. You don't know you're acting funny. You're going to be distant. Your mind ain't there, you know. You think you're all right. All your responses is a little more slower, you know. You're a lot more chilled, but you ain't there. And usually you ain't going to be working out. You ain't going to be doing no exercise. You ain't going to be doing nothing concerning health. So you're not going to be thinking about health. You're just going to be like a robot. So it's a high possibility that this Babylon system where we got to work all these hours, it's probably got a lot to do with this depression that a lot of people is having because they got you like a robot, got you like a robot. Go to work, pay the bills. Go to work, pay the bills. Go to work, pay the bills. And what time do you have to think about yourself? So yourself just gets lost in there. You get lost because your life, you don't got a life. You go to work, pay the bills, go to work, pay the bills, go to work, pay the bills. And then sometimes the cost of living or whatever your job stuff, you so busy trying to hurry up and go to work and take care of everything that you don't take care of yourself. You too busy trying to take care of the bills. You too busy trying to put food on the table. You too busy trying to pay the light bill, pay this bill, pay that bill. And you is just lost. You don't even know it. Because you go into work. So how could you be depressed? You go to work every day. So how you gonna think you're depressed? You think depressed is just laying around in the bed. That's what it sounds like. Depressed sounds like I'm laying in the bed with the cover over me. No. Mm-mm. That's what I say. They're gonna have to name different ones, different things, because the person just laying around the bed don't want to do nothing. That need to be one type of depression, but they got somewhere you be doing something every day and you'll be depressed. Seriously. And don't even know it. Depression is a common mental health condition characterized by persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a loss of interest in activities once enjoyed. See, that's not necessarily true because when it says the loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed, that's not necessarily true because if you come out of depression, you still might not want to do that shit anyway. You might just don't want to do that no more. As far as persistent feelings of sadness, that's not true. You can have depression and never be sad. You can be going through depression and not be sad. Hopelessness. You could be going through depression and not be hopeless. That's why these in some cases probably, but no, no way. That's not accurate because you can be going through depression and not thinking at all. Not thinking about being sad, not thinking about being hopeless, just like a robot going through the motions. You ain't thinking none. That's a fact. You could be going through depression and not thinking at all. I would be willing to bet that most depression, the person that's depressed is not thinking at all. They have no idea they're depressed or going through what you call depression. And many times I don't believe that even after you find out, I don't believe you can point at how you got there. I think it's a slow road to get there. I don't believe it's like, oh, I'm just depressed. I think it's a long, slow road. And when you get there, you don't know you're there. It was so slow for you to get there. You don't have no idea you're there. Now, in some cases, yeah, that's why I say I think they need to name different types of depression because sometimes women, when they lose a young child, they go through what you call depression, but that's based just on that. But all forms of depression is not based off of losing anybody. You could be depressed and don't lose anybody. You could be depressed and lost somebody, but not know that you're depressed for losing them. It never hit your mind that that did something to you. You won't know. You won't know. You won't know. In some cases, it could be three, four, five things in your life that happened that created this depression. So you can't point at nothing. It's your life all in general. And it kind of puts you in a situation where you're just going through the motions. You're not here. There's a depression where you're just going through the motions. You're not there. You're not there. Some coping skills for depression include connecting with others, talking to friends and family, joining support groups, or volunteering can help you feel less alone and more supportive. See, I'm confused because depression make I don't believe you necessarily feel alone. They're taking one particular type of feeling and they're saying that's depression. And I totally disagree with this. I totally disagree. You can go through depression and not feel any of that. You can go through depression and not feel alone. You can have a mate and children and be depressed and not know it. But they did say what I said. Look, exercising, regular physical activity can improve your mood and health. And that's the thing is your mood is like a gas. You know how you have gases that could kill you and you don't smell it? A lot of times depression is like that. There is no mood. And I think when they make everybody think you're going to have a mood or you're going to be crying, a lot of people are going to be going through depression and not know it because they're not going to be sad. They're not going to be crying. They're not going to be thinking about nothing. And they're going to still be in a state of depression. Because it doesn't have to be no certain event. It could be a little something here and a little something there and a little something there and a little something there. And slowly it beats you down and you don't know it. Because it's a little bit of everything. And you don't know. It's not necessarily, oh, it's this. It's not necessarily going to happen like that. But exercising will prevent it from happening for sure. They say practicing self care. That's the same as, look, they say eating well, eat healthy meals, staying away from hydrated, staying hydrated can help you feel better, right? And then they say practicing self care. Well, exercising and eating well is self care. They say getting enough sleep, trying relaxing activities, and practicing gratitude can help you feel better. Challenging negative thinking, trying to face your fears and avoid using alcohol as a coping mechanism can help you feel better in some cases, but you're going to be going through depression and it ain't going to have nothing to do with none of that. And you're not going to know you're depressed. And this advice is they talking like you're going to know you're depressed. You're not going to know. You're not going to know. In some cases, you might be down and out and crying and sad, and you'll know. But in a lot of cases, I bet you don't know. I bet you there's a whole lot of people in America right now going through depression and have no idea. They say because you might not be taking showers and stuff like that. You might not be paying attention that you ain't taking showers. So how you gonna know you're depressed? You ain't gonna be paying attention to that. In your mind, you normal. Your mind, you normal. Your mind is not gonna trigger that all that's going on. In a lot of cases, depression is undetectable until you come out of it. And that's the same for stupidity and stuff like that. When you're in the streets and you're doing stupid stuff, you do not know you're stupid until you get smart. And you get smart, you go, Jesus Christ, what was I doing? You can actually go to jail and have no idea you're going to jail. Swear to God. You can actually be hypnotized while you're doing crimes. Ain't got a clue you could get caught. Kind of lost, gone. Not even in reality. I'm telling you from experience. I was in the Cook County Jail probably 2.5 months before I go, holy cow. What the hell was I doing? Riding around with all that stuff. I didn't get caught with all that stuff I was riding around with. I got caught a different way. But how I was riding around, come on. Crazy. Have no idea. I mean, not a clue what I was doing. It's almost like hypnosis. And there's certain depression is exactly like that. It can accumulate from a lot of things before it finally hits you. Because you could be fighting it and not knowing you're fighting it. And then this happened, and this happened, and that happened. And you're not paying attention that all this stuff is happening. You're blowing it off and keep going. You're a go-getter. But your mental know. And so slowly it beats you down, but you don't know it's beating you down. So you be down and not knowing it. It's almost like hypnosis. And the only way you know you're down is when you get back up and you had no clue where you was at. You swore you was normal. Straight up. So when you go to depression and you start and you certain things you're not doing, you think you don't want to do it. You ain't thinking that, you ain't even gonna think why you're not doing it. You just ain't doing it. That's a fact. You're not gonna think. In your mind, you're doing what you want to do. And you don't want to do that. You'll never think it's depression the reason you ain't doing it. The draining experience and you still trying to work and push through. You don't know you're trying to push through because life is so hard to push through. When you pushing through, you think you pushing through life, but you pushing through depression. And you can't distinguish life from depression because you're constantly trying to push through. You constantly trying to make it. So you don't even know why you're pushing through or why you're moving a certain type of way. You have no idea you ain't eating. You don't know you ain't eating until 10 o'clock at night. You ain't ate all day. You're like, oh, and it ain't gonna kick in. You'll be like, oh, I gotta eat, and you're gonna go eat a little something. It's not gonna register. It's not gonna register. You're on autopilot. But the way they making it think you're gonna be sitting around crying, you're gonna be sitting around sad. Y'all don't believe that. You could be going through depression and you do not know it. And you might be going, let's say you had 100 and bad depression is 15. So you might be at 100 and you're going down 95, 90, 80, 85. So you ain't going to know. It's just like, you know how you sitting at home and the clock is there and the clock say 11, and then you doing whatever you're doing, you look back and it say 11:15. But if you watch it, you're not going to actually see it move to 11:15 because it's moving so slow. That's how some depression is. It's going to creep on you so slow that by the time you're messed up, that could have easily been a 3-year process. It's not always, oh, somebody passed away. Oh, I'm depressed. No. Oh, no. It could be a long process of you. Maybe it could be you struggling in life. So, in other words, you're a woman, you working. They get on some dumb stuff and you lose your job for nothing. Okay, that could be right there from 100 to 90. But you won't know it because you fight through. You go try to get another job. You get another job, but it ain't good as that job. Okay, 85. You don't know it. Then maybe the landlord start tripping. Or maybe something else happened. You're constantly going down. 80, 75. You don't know it. You're struggling through all these things and you think you're doing good because you're overcoming them. But the whole time, it's beating you down. But you ain't going to be able to register that life is beating you down because you still got to go. You ain't got no time for woe is me. You still got to pay the bills. You still got to do what you got to do. So you ain't going to be able to think, how am I doing mentally? How you ain't going to be able to think that. You thinking, when is the rent due mentally? When is my car note due mentally? When is my phone bill due mentally? You ain't going to be able to think about no doggone, no damn depression. Hell, if you work Monday through Friday, you're depressed every Sunday night. But don't start me to lie. Nobody likes Sunday night. Everybody's a little depressed. So everybody's not a little depressed Sunday when they gotta go back to work Monday. All my life, Sunday has been negative feeling. All my life, Sunday has been a drag. Nobody likes Sunday evening and face they gotta go to work tomorrow. It's always had a little bit of depression. But you're able to go to work, make some more money so it doesn't grow. But imagine if you had that happening constantly in different things, the way you feel Sunday. You would never know that you're depressed. The rat race is causing depression. Because if you go through a bad breakup, but you still got to go to work, how is that healthy? You ain't even got no time to heal because the bills don't care nothing about your breakup. The bills don't care nothing about your mother being sick. The bills don't care nothing about your daddy being sick or your children. The bills don't care. The Babylon system don't care. So you find yourself working through things that in natural life you wouldn't work through those things. So your mind is gone. You ain't able to fix your mind in no rat race. So we in a rat race. So now everybody, all these people got depression. What a coincidence. You think in a natural world people had depression? No, they didn't. Depression comes from the rat race because the rat race is the main thing make you so you can't take care of yourself. The main reason we can't take care of ourselves because our damn jobs. You're working for somebody to pay the bills. You ain't even got no time for yourself. Show me where you got time for yourself. It's 24 hours in a day. You got to work 8 and you got to sleep 8. That's 16. Transportation could either be an hour or 2 hours. So that could be 17 or 18. If it's 18, you got 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You got 7 hours What can you do for yourself in 7 hours? Nothing. That ain't no time for yourself. Out of 24 hours, all you get is 7. Out of a whole 24 hours, you don't get 12. You don't get 12. No, you only get 7. Barely, barely. Because like I say, 8 hours of sleep and 8 hours to work. That's 16. And if you're in a city like Chicago, you can easily spend 2 to 2.5 hours in traffic to get to work and get back. So you can easily be at 18, 18 and a half. So then you got 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You got to eat. That's easily an hour, 2 hours if you're trying to cook something good. So you ain't got no time to cook no real dinner. So you got to slap something and eat something cheap and quick. You need work. You need time to get ready for work. Yeah. You need time to get ready for work, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, but at least an hour and a half to go to work because an hour and a half is nothing. I can come over here at 2 o'clock and I can set up a video to go live at 4 o'clock. And do you know how fast 4 o'clock come? It comes faster than you can believe. It could be 4 o'clock and I could say, I'm going live at 6. And all I got to do is 2 little things. And it's 5:15. I got 45 minutes to get ready. That's how fast that time really be going. And I ain't done nothing. I ain't really done, I don't feel like I done no hour and 15 minutes work for nothing. But that's what it be. And so you might not know if you got depression or not. You might not know you're going through nothing or not. But the key is exercise and do some self-care just to protect yourself, just in case. That will protect you. Exercise, lose some weight, gain some muscle, try to eat right. That will protect you and keep you from not knowing that you're going through depression. That's a fact. That will add some excitement to your life to stop you from being down and out because you could be down and out and not know it. Seriously. You cannot know you're a little down and out. So think about that and check on your family members and everybody. And if you got somebody not taking showers and baths like they supposed to, they not drinking water like they supposed to, they don't eat like they supposed to, they going through it and they don't know it. So don't tell them they going through it. Just go pour them a glass of water and take it to them. They'll drink it. They'll sit it down. They'll sip it and drink it. If it's a husband or whatever, go run him some bath water. Or a wife, go run her some bath water. Say, I got you some bath water in there. They'll go get in it, but they might not go run it themselves. And have some compassion. Have some compassion for your mate. You never know what they're going through, male or female. You feel me? So that's all I got to say about that. Somebody wanted me to talk about it. Make sure y'all support the channel and, stay talking. Stay talking, stay communicating with each other. Okay. And if you do find out you depressed, work out, eat better, and don't dwell on it. The hell with it. Just get better. Don't dwell. Just get out of it. Work out, eat better. Even if you don't do a lot of exercise, if you just do a little bit, that'll give you some self gratification to stop you from being like sleepwalking, because you could like be sleepwalking and be depressed. So you got to do something to keep you here, because we live in a world it's just day in, day out, day in, day out, and eventually you could zone out and just be like a robot and be going through straight depression and have no idea you even depressed. Seriously. So that's that real victory.